Go.
Welcome to episode 7 of the Take Two podcast, where we are always down to break out into spontaneous song. Today on the pod, we are raising our goblets of rock as we rank the top 5 Jack Black performances. If you're new with us, I'm Kenny, and this is Sam. Sam, how tenacious are you feeling today?
I am feeling on a scale of 1 to 10 of tenacity, very tenacious.
Yeah, I'm in the exact same boat after just watching the fever dream that is Jack Black acting. I'm 11 out of 10 on the tenacious scale right now. I'm just wired.
You're it's
All
it's
right.
it's good that you're wired and not worn down because that's what Jack Black can do to people sometimes.
This is a great point. He can kind of write you out into existence. Um, as for housekeeping, we have crested 15 followers on YouTube, which is super exciting. We're excited about that. We're pumped about that. But our gaze has not been deterred. We still have our eyes set on the 25 subscriber milestone. So if you like this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and then hit the like button if you like it. If you don't like it, just get out. But for our episode on top 10 best video games of all time released on Tuesday, we got lots of feedback. And Sam, people were in an uproar. They were in an uproar that we did not include such critically acclaimed classics like Minecraft and Apex Legends. So I just want to take a moment to give a brief shout out and just extend my gratitude to our follower Glide for just truly representing the 13-year-old boy crowd in our community. Thank you, Glide. We really appreciate you. You're gonna go places, kid. We believe in you. You can get through middle school. We can do it.
Yeah, actually, we did that video game episode in honor of the Minecraft movie coming out. So it was funny that we didn't have Minecraft on our list. I was never a huge Minecraft guy.
Yeah, me neither.
Lauren, my wife, was into it. I was not. But it is the most successful indie game of all time. So credit where credit's due.
Yeah, I'm kind of amazed that I was never super into Minecraft, considering how much I love Legos and
Yes.
how I would just totally enjoy a sandbox thing. I think I had a fear that if I did ever start playing, I literally would never come out of Overworld, so I just avoided it just because of my addictive personality. But that brings up a good point of why we were talking about Jack Black.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
Minecraft,
Why a lot of people are probably wondering, why
yeah,
are you guys talking about Jack Black? You guys are an acclaimed movie and TV podcast where you've covered Bong Joon-ho. We did Steven Soderbergh movies. We covered the finale of Severance. And obviously, to follow those three things up, we are ranking Jack Black's top 5 movies.
listen, as much as we love Oscar bait, we're also men of the people,
Yes,
Sam. We
that's
care
true.
about what the people care about. And you know what? The people called for a Minecraft movie, or at least a major studio decided that was a good idea and that's what people wanted. So,
We're here.
Minecraft, yeah, Minecraft movie starring Jason Momoa, Jack Black, and a slew of other folks was released this week. And I don't. This might be a hot take, but I don't think it's going to be winning any Oscars.
Oh, wow.
Um,
And Kenny
yeah,
saw it.
I did see it. Yeah, so I saw it last night with my wife Jenna, and that movie is the most unhinged thing I've ever. It's it's like smoking crack or whatever. However you do crack, I imagine it's like that.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, yeah. You
the
you are telling us to imagine that you're imagining what it's like to do crack.
exactly, yes,
Okay.
exactly. Imagine I had never done crack.
I am imagining that right now that you've never done crack.
All right, don't clip that. Don't get this canceled. We're only 3 minutes into this sucker, so that's probably a new record for us. Um, this movie has a $150 million budget, so this movie that has a lot of CGI actually cost less than one season of Severance. So just putting that into perspective. And, turns out you can make a movie pretty lean if you don't have a writer, if you don't have a script, if you don't really have a director, you can actually save a lot of money. So I think that studios should really take some notes on the Minecraft movie and be like, yeah, if you just have a bunch of fairly famous people ad lib and just say whatever they want on screen, and then hire pretty good animators to create a lifelike blocky world, you can produce a blockbuster for $150 million in
I see what you did
2025.
there. A blockbuster.
Yeah, I know. I'm sorry. I couldn't avoid it. I actually haven't checked the recent numbers. I don't know how well it's doing. I imagine not super well.
I
Yeah, the
saw a
movie,
lot of negative reviews about it.
yes.
So I was interested. As we all know, Kenny has a bit of a recency bias. So I was
Yeah.
almost ready for you to come in and say, this has been one of my favorite movies in recent
Yeah.
memory.
Yeah, spoiler alert, it's not cresting my top five today. I think Jack Black is still pretty good in it. A summary of the movie is Jack Black is a guy who's always longed for the mines, and he's found a way to make it into the world of Minecraft. Overworld, is that what's the, I can't remember what the actual name is called. Anyway, there's this whole like narrated over montage at the very beginning where they basically explain what Minecraft is and how he got there and how he had gotten captured and he had to like send an orb of
You're
there's
boring
like
me just
yeah,
talking about it.
there's so many
I'm
terms
actually
that I'm
I'm losing more interest in the film with every passing sentence that you say about it.
and that's the thing is like there's so many moments like what was written, what is in the script of this movie is Jack Black explaining to us all of these Minecraft terms that I'm sure are very familiar to people who frequent Minecraft servers, but to those of us who aren't, it's just like this a ton of jargon that you're like, how am I supposed to kind of keep up with all of this?
Glide will explain
But
it for us.
yes, I'm sure Glide, man of the people, man of middle schoolers everywhere. I should say middle school boy of middle schoolers everywhere will speak up for us. So glad we look forward to your comments in the chat. But yeah, that being said, not my favorite
What are you
movie.
giving it
I
out
think
of five, Kenny? What are you giving it out of five?
two, two.
Wow.
Yeah, it's a 2 out of
Hi.
5. Again, Jack Black is super fun, but he also kind of goes back and forth within these accents. Like sometimes he's Scottish for no reason, and some of that's just Jack Black, like riffing like he does. He
Right.
does have some really fun singing parts, which is always personally a favorite of mine in every Jack Black performance. Is whenever he breaks out in song, because he is an incredibly musically talented person. Um, and then Jason Momoa is just like, it's just so bizarre that Khal Drogo has just hit rock bottom. It's just like, what is he doing?
His peak
He's,
was Cal Drago.
I know where he started. It's kind of disappointing. Like in this, and he plays a guy in this movie who's down on his luck. And I don't understand why Jason Momoa or Jason Momoa's agent isn't having him go after better roles. Like he was in one of the worst Fast and Furious movies. He played Aquaman, which I actually enjoyed the first Aquaman, but never saw the second one. But he is terrible in Justice League.
He's
I
not
just
a
don't
great actor.
understand.
He's not a good
Yeah, I
actor.
just don't understand why he's choosing the roles that he's choosing. Where
You
maybe
know
he
why
just
he
needs to.
Kenny, you know why he was good as Cal Drago? He had four
'Cause he didn't
lines.
talk.
Yeah. Poor guy's just getting roasted right now.
I
If
know.
this gets to him, poor guy.
I know. What Jason Momoa, come on the pod.
Yeah,
Defend your
defend
current
yourself
choices.
if you're really a man.
Dude, he's like twice our size. He would beat the crap out of us.
Whatever.
He's also quite a good rock climber, in case you were curious.
I'm
So
not.
he could out boulder us, both
Yeah,
physically and technically.
maybe in a movie. Okay, let's move on. This movie's burning me out already.
Okay, so we are moving on to our next segment called "Are You Done?" Sam, do you want to start with your rant?
Yeah, so like new segment we're doing, and are you done? And it's just a little time for both of us to let something out if it's on our mind, and we may or may not respond to one another. But yeah, I'll start. All right, John Boyega went viral this week. He had an interview, I believe, with Variety, and here's the quote he said. Let me tell you, Star Wars always had the vibe of being in the most whitest elite space. It's a franchise that's so white that a black person existing in it was something. You can always tell it's something when some Star Wars fans try to say, well, we had Lando Calrissian, had Samuel L. Jackson. It's like telling me how many cookie chips are in the cookie dough. It's like they just scattered that in there, bro. They're okay with us playing the best friend, but once we touch their heroes, once we lead, once we trailblaze, it's like, oh my God, it's just a bit too much. They're pandering. So there's a little bit of an uproar over this. I'm going to give you my 2 cents on it. I'm going to be really chill, really calm about this. All right? Take a deep breath here. John Boyega really pissed me off with this. The whitest elite space vibe he's thrown out is such a stretch when you've got a universe packed with aliens, droids, and a whole lot of cosmic weirdness. Humans, period, are the minority in the universe. And how are you going to call Darth Vader not black? For half the films, he was voiced by James Earl Jones, and who knew what race he was under that thing because he'd been fried to a crisp. And let's talk Lando and Mace Windu. How dare Boyega dismiss these two? Lando Calrissian wasn't some token sidekick. He was a suave, gambling rogue who owned Cloud City and outsmarted Darth Vader. Billy D. Williams, the guy who played him, made him iconic, not a sprinkle in the mix. Samuel L. Jackson as Mace, the dude was a Jedi Master, second only to Yoda, chopping heads and throwing Palpatine out a window before he got yeeted into oblivion by Anakin. Spoiler alert. They're icons. Samuel L. Jackson wanted the first purple lightsaber and the only purple lightsaber in the galaxy, and it was granted to him, and he crushed it. And Finn, Boyega's own role, wasn't just the best friend. He kicked off The Force Awakens as a stormtrooper with a conscience, breaking free from the First Order. That is a lead arc, not a side gig. Sure, the sequels fumbled his story. Plenty of fans, me included, wanted him swinging a saber as a full-on Jedi by the end. The blue hue, when he picks up that lightsaber and it's snowing and you know he's going to get wrecked by Kylo Ren, that was awesome. Maybe the coolest moment of the new trilogy. But pinning his role on toxic fans is so lazy and overdone. Disney's the one who dropped the ball, not the audience. Most Star Wars nerds I've seen were hyped for Finn, not clutching pearls over his skin color. You are talking to a guy who loved the character of Finn, and I thought Boyega did an awful job acting in the role. I thought he was incredibly corny, and his line delivery was all over the place, especially in The Force Awakens, but I still liked the character. And I'll say this, when Disney bought Star Wars, you knew they were going to lean into social politics because they wanted to get their minority empowerment messaging out into the world. And it just sucks for Finn that at this time, they were more into the Me Too movement and making Rey an untouchable, unkillable goddess than they were with putting Finn, a black character, front and center. Boyega should be mad that Black Lives Matter didn't come a few years earlier because their roles would have been swapped because that's how Disney operates. Last thing. And then he says Disney has been pandering to Star Wars fans, which has been the complete opposite. We have gotten mostly movie shows and characters that we didn't want as Star Wars fans. Star Wars doesn't need to pander, by the way, and never did pre-Disney. It has always leaned into universal themes, rebellion, hope, redemption, not identity politics. I'll end by saying Boyega should feel blessed he got to play such a major role in the Star Wars universe because it is a worldwide IP that people adore. I don't think he did a good job acting. Disney botched his character, and he needs to stop complaining about a role that launched his entire career. That's it. That's all the talking I'm doing for the entire episode. It's out. Sorry that was so long.
Are you done?
I'm done. We can move on.
I actually do have a few comments. Hot take. Star Wars fans are easily the worst fans in all of cinema history. They are toxic. They are terrible. They're never happy. They want no new ideas. They suck. Come at me, Star Wars fans. I dare you. Secondly, Two in a, I can see where you're coming from, but in defense of Boyega, I remember waiting in line to go and see The Force Awakens. I skipped school. I watched the prequel trilogy and the sequel trilogy like in line, literally waiting all day with my buddies at
Here's
the Chapel Hills
Kenny
Mall.
telling Star Wars fans to come at him and then self-describing himself as the deepest Star Wars fan ever.
But I do remember there was like everyone made the world's biggest hullabaloo about there being a black stormtrooper. Like
Yes, I
it
remember
was,
that. I remember that. But what I will
yeah,
say is the people who made that case were also the dumbest Star Wars fans, right? Because there's a difference between stormtroopers and clone troopers, right?
well,
We
sure.
and the idea was that Anakin didn't want, or Darth Vader, they didn't want clone troopers anymore, and they wanted to basically um, drill people or exercise people, and they thought this would be a better way of doing it in the long run. There's a few other reasons why they switched to stormtroopers. So
Right.
it makes sense that you are going to have different races and ethnicities. So I remember that whole
Yeah.
thing blowing up, but it was very stupid. It was the dumbest part of the fan base.
But I would argue that Disney was also like very pandering, being like, "Oh my gosh, look, there's a black stormtrooper. Can you believe it?" And
Oh
it's
yeah.
like,
Disney
yeah, we all assumed
knows
that
what they're
they're
doing all the time.
right. So I think that it's like a both and, right? Where it's just Disney was being ridiculous about it and being like, "Oh my gosh, isn't it amazing that there's a black stormtrooper?" It's like literally everyone assumed that was the case, and it really should not be a big deal. Like, why are we making a big deal over this? Because John Boyega had some very incredible roles in like in smaller films and in TV where he just was killer. It was more exciting that he was in it than anything else. But
Why this is what drives me nuts. Like this trilogy, like this character made his career. And how you gonna 3, 4 years later after it ends come back and like criticize the machine that made you afterwards? Like it's very cowardly, I think.
mm, yeah, I'll think a little bit more on that one.
Okay, it's
Can
all
I
good.
can I go?
Go.
All right. This past week there was a convention called CinemaCon. And in CinemaCon, new content for the following movies was released. Five Nights at Freddy's 2. Nobody 2. Black Phone 2. There was an announcement of a live action How to Train Your Dragon 2 starting. The Bad Guys 2. A sequel to Quentin Tarantino's Once Upon a Time in Hollywood was announced. And this one I'm actually kind of excited about. But Naked Gun reboot with Liam Neeson. It looks hilarious. I'm not going to pick on that one. But anyway, we have a ton of sequels, unnecessary sequels that I just like want to gouge my eyes out over. But I'm going to focus on one. I really want to focus on the live action How to Train Your Dragon 2 Greenlight. We are now making sequels to live action remakes of animated movies and standalone indie films. Like what are we doing? Where are all of the new ideas at? Like this is even before the release of the just live action How to Train Your Dragon 1. They're just like, "Oh, we literally can't come up with anything else new, so we're just going to greenlight this other thing cuz we have the money. We got to justify our existence." I'm over it. I'm tired. It's just, what are we doing? Why is this what was being released at CinemaCon? I mean, there's a few other like exciting things. I think we saw some new footage of Superman, et cetera, et cetera. We got some stuff from Begonia and other movies that I do think are going to be pretty well acclaimed and are going to be really fun to watch and are going to be original ideas. But like my Twitter feed turned into this, where it was just lists upon lists of sequels of current IPs or movies that I thought were really fun. Like Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, great film, stand alone. I don't need a second one. Why do we have a second one? Like Quentin, QT, my guy, go write a new movie. Like, stop playing this ridiculous game where he's like, oh, like 10 movies or whatever he's at, 11 movies, and I'm done. I'm done. I'm going to have a perfectly round filmography. Shut up and go make another movie. That's what we want.
Are you done, Kenny? Was that it? Did you get it out?
Yeah, I feel better.
Okay.
Thank you.
My response to that is I totally agree. Can't stand the unnecessary sequels. Here's one of my big problems with most sequels. Something how do I put this? You can tell when something's made and there is room for sequels or there's an intention for sequels. It's frustrating when something like a movie like Nobody, which was like a good little fun action flick off to the side, does better than expected, and now we have a second one. It's like we didn't need the second one. Like you said, the How to Train Your Dragon stuff, unbelievable. I'm totally anti live action of an animated film. It seems like we're in a bizarro world where we're even doing that. Like I honestly think it's disgraceful. I'll say that far because I feel bad for all the animators and everything that was put into like the original How to Train Your Dragons. And now this is going to be the newest version. So people are going to grow up with this version, having never seen the other version. And it's like all the people who put all the work into the first movies aren't going to get any credit. And there's going to be almost no difference between the films. Like it's like going to be a shot for shot.
Not to mention that you're kind of stealing their art.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
It's arguably I know that there's probably illustrators who worked on both. I'm sure they got the permissions and legal things that are necessary, but it's like, are you serious? You're just gonna like take these people who spent hundreds and maybe even thousands of hours developing Toothless to make him like look like a cat, to move correctly, to seem super friendly but still seem like a dragon, and you're just gonna be like, yeah, we'll just take that and like put a CGI coat on him and call it a day.
It's very frustrating. All right. I'm going to say something non-controversial, and then we're going to go right into ranking Jack Black's best performances, right?
Right.
Yeah. Quentin Tarantino is overrated, and so are a lot of his movies. With that being said, here's my 2 cents on Jack Black. Right before we rank Jack Black's movies. I think Jack Black seems like a fun, goofy dude in real life. I am not the biggest on-screen Jack Black fan. Even though I've seen a lot of his movies, I have nothing against the dude whatsoever, but he is one of those actors. When I see him in a movie, it's like I am smash passing on that movie a lot of the time. However, here we are. We're going to rank the top 5 movies. So do you want to start, Kenny, at 5?
Yeah, I can start. And I do want to clarify before we get going that we're not ranking like the best movies that Jack Black has been in. Like there's going to be some notable exceptions in here. Sam and I were talking about The Cable Guy before we started recording. That movie's not making an appearance because we're focusing primarily on the movies where Jack Black had the best performance. So
and more so that he starred in to a degree.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, that he starred in. But I think that it's going to be interesting because as we go through this list, we may find out that some of these movies by themselves are not very good, but Jack Black just cooks in them. So
very
just
well
want to put that out there before we get all the comments about what the heck, why did you guys forget to rank that blank? I don't want to ruin your ranking in case. But yeah, I'll start. My number 5 favorite Jack Black performance is his performance as Lenny the Shark in Shark Tale.
Wow.
Have you seen this movie, Sam?
Yeah, it's been a long time with Will Smith. I remember yes. Was it DreamWorks?
Yes.
So DreamWorks to come out with a movie post Pixar that like, oh, Finding Nemo was a hit. Here comes Shark Tale. And I remember I remember seeing it. I thought it was okay. And I remember it not being like received at like the highest levels, but just kind of a weird offbeat DreamWorks knockoff. But go ahead and cook, Kenny.
Yeah. So Shark Tale is a movie about a shark who is part of a crime family. And he stands out a little bit from the other sharks because he is repulsed by eating other fish. He is a vegetarian shark. And so he is standing out and his dad is the ruler of the city, basically kind of a Don Corleone character. It's exactly what it's based off. Is based off of The Godfather, and through happenstance and wacky circumstances. Okay,
That's
good
pretty
reference.
good.
That was pretty good. For That's going to be good video content for the people
Sorry.
who are just
Yeah,
listening to this via an audio medium. They're going to be like, "What are you guys talking
sorry.
about?"
I just did the greatest Godfather facial impersonation you'll ever see. Go ahead, Kenny. Continue.
Yeah, but Jack Black ends up teaming up with Will Smith's fish. I don't even remember the fish's name now, but he works for a whale wash and he is in a lot of debt. He's in trouble with the shark family, and through random circumstance and happenstance, these two kick off an unlikely friendship and they come up with a coup basically to show Will Smith as being the superhero of the city who kicks shark butt. Basically, everything crashes around them, and at the end, Lenny has to face his father and just admit to his father that, hey, I'm a vegetarian shark, and everyone has to come clean. Will Smith's fish character has to come clean with the fact that he'd been running this con with the shark and that he wasn't actually a hero. And it's a movie about honesty, and it's really fun. There's a lot of wackiness about it. The story is pretty simple, but he is so funny in it. Like Jack Black is really good at having a voice. This voice is very unique, and he's just this is the movie where his likability I think shines through the most. Like he's just a very enduring character. It's not his funniest role, but I think that it's up there for me in one of his most endearing roles.
Cool. Well, you know what? Good for him. And good for this movie. I don't know if I'm gonna, maybe when Wesley's older, I will show him this movie and this clip from the podcast and be like, pay attention, Wesley, to Lenny's endearment in this, played by Jack Black. So that's a good pick. My 5, and I'm gonna say this right now. I barely like this movie. Like it's like a 5.5 out of 10 for me. Okay, so I barely like it. And Jack Black was probably the best in it. And same thing. I barely liked him in this. He was very close to me wanting to punch him in the face most of the movie. But he did just enough. Okay, here we go. Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle. Okay, this is my 5. He plays a character that is a girl, but the girl is in Jack Black's body. So he is playing this teenage girl in his body. I don't know. It's weird, but of
It's
all
hilarious.
the characters, yeah, of all the characters in the movie, they all get body swapped and they have different characteristics than they do in real life. He is the standout in this movie. The Rock is whatever. Everyone else is kind of whatever. And everyone's supposed to be kind of funny to an extent, but Jack Black steals the show of this movie. The movie runs for too long. It's a little out there, I am a massive Jumanji fan. The original with Robin Williams, I adore. I've seen that movie a dozen times. Didn't like Zathura. Didn't really like this reboot, even though I think this was a cool approach to the reboot. I like the video game concept. I like what they did with the characters. It just comes off, it doesn't have as far as the movie goes, Jumanji, the original, had some serious heart in it, and it had so much charm, and it was just awesome, top to bottom. I just felt like this movie had a lot of corniness to it and was really cheesy, but I know generally people liked this movie and it was well received, so sure, I might get some hate from this, and it was obviously good enough to get a sequel or two. Did they make a third one? I can't remember.
They've only made one other one so far.
Okay.
Jumanji: The Next Level.
Next Level. I didn't watch that one, but I'm gonna give him credit, Jack Black credit where credit's due. If not for him in this movie, it does not work, and it doesn't get into the likability or fun that it would be. I think if almost anyone else replaced him, it's tough for them to hit this role. In my mind, this is my little Jack Black rant here. As Jim Carrey sort of moved out of filmmaking, as he became a little bit of a psychopath, okay? And a few of these actors that were a little more zany and out there, Jack Black has kind of taken up that mantle. He's not as crazy as Jim Carrey would get, like how extreme Jim Carrey would get. But this is one of those roles where it's like almost his overacting to an extent, and his screen presence pushes this movie through for me. So Jumanji, Welcome to the Jungle, number 5.
Jumanji number 1 is my 4th on the list. So
okay, cool.
I agree that he is the best part of the movie. I actually do like this movie a lot. I think that how you kind of feel slightly repelled by Jack Black in terms of his like comedic taste is a little bit how I feel about Kevin Hart, to where I've enjoyed Kevin Hart's comedy sketches in the past, but I just do not find him a very funny actor. I think actually some of the funnier roles I've seen him in is when he actually plays a straight man, like as in he's not the person making jokes. So that's kind of how I feel towards him. I didn't really like him in this movie. The Rock is just doing The Rock. The Rock doesn't really act. He just exists to be big and to be himself in every single movie.
The Rock is his name in a nutshell.
Yes. Yeah, no, he's there and he's charming, right? He's always charming, but that's just Dwayne Johnson. That's just him as a person. He's a charming guy, super nice, and that's just he plays himself in every single movie under a different alias. But the story is fun. It's plenty of kinetic. Jack Black playing the teenage girl. So this movie was released, I think, in 2017. I was a freshman in college, and so this movie was just really funny to me, thinking about all the friends that I had who were kind of this way. There's a scene where Jack Black is teaching the nerdy girl in the movie how to like talk to boys and to flirt and how to walk and all this sort of thing. And it's just his body comedy just really works for me. I think that it's really funny when he just like goes and looks in the water and he like looks up in shock and then he's like, I'm an overweight middle-aged man. It's I just truly find him quite funny. I think that he's pretty funny in the second movie as well. I did watch it. I did enjoy it, not as much as the first one, so I didn't make the list, but yeah, Jumanji 1 is my number 4.
Okay, sweet. I had it at 4 initially and then I bumped it down. So
interesting. Woof. What's your number 4?
My number 4 is Nacho Libre.
Yes.
So this is one of the weirdest movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It's written and maybe directed by Jared Hess, who did Napoleon Dynamite, which is legitimately one of my favorite movies ever made. Like top 5 comedies, top 5 everything. I love Napoleon Dynamite.
Do you watch that guy's sketches? Like he makes sketches now on YouTube that are just super random, talking about like the Chiefs or something.
Jared Hess or or John Heder?
Napoleon Dynamite.
Okay, no, I don't. But
you should check him out.
Yeah, well, we don't plug people on this show, so free plug.
Oh yeah, no free ads.
Yeah,
sorry,
no
free ads.
If you get any views from this, John Heder, you owe us, and we will sue you. So
come on the pod so we can sue you.
Yeah, that's right. Actually, I love John Heder. I wish he continued acting and got way more roles, because I also loved him in Blades of Glory. But that's a whole nother thing.
Yeah.
Nacho Libre is so weird. Jack Black just carries the movie. It's just filming him in awkward situations, and it feels this way. The directing feels this way, where it's like, okay, we're asking this guy a question. For anyone who hasn't seen Nacho Libre, he's like a Catholic monk, sort of, and he's also moonlighting as a wrestler, like
as a luchador.
A luchador, and it's just he has just some hilarious, iconic, like meme-worthy one-liners in this movie, like all the time. Like Lauren said this to me the other day, like a few weeks ago, and I've been saying it for a month. It's just like, I like my life. It's good. It's really good. Like he just has like weird stuff.
I wake up alone every day.
Every day. He's like, I love it. Like, but like he's dying inside. It's just so weird. And there's some weird scenes in the movie. There's a scene where like this woman like crawls through a hole in the wall and you're like, what movie am I watching? Like, but it's funny. And she like scurries away like a rat. It's a weird movie. It's one of those movies, if you want something really quirky, it's funny. And Jack Black like kind of crushes this role. And anyone who can make an iconic character out of an okay weird film, like, props to him. So Nacho Libre is my 4.
Nacho Libre is actually my 3rd, so that worked out quite well
Sweet.
for us. I was watching this movie while riding a stationary bike, and I almost fell off just because I was laughing so hard. This movie is just so funny to me. There's like a scene where he's like flirting with this nun that he has a crush on.
Is it the white pants scene?
Yes,
That's the
yeah.
best
And so
scene.
he's
That's
like
the best
he's
scene.
really leaning into it. He's really showing and like, making his glutes all like he's trying to flex his glutes. And the nun's like, these clothes look expensive. And he's like, yeah, yes, thank you. And then he's like, but anyway, but yes, I may have fancy clothes, but inside these clothes there is a man, and inside every man lies his nucleus.
His nucleus, that's right.
And I can't say I can't say the word nucleus without thinking of Jack Black now. Like, I remember taking chemistry classes in college and like learning about combustion, all this stuff, and every time I'd just be like, nucleus. It's so funny. I laugh every single time. There's a scene where I don't even remember what's his like sidekick's name.
I
but
forget the name, but I know who you're talking
he's like
about.
super worried about him because he hadn't been baptized
Oh,
yet,
yes,
and they're about
that's
to
a
go
great scene.
face like they're about to go face like a luchador named the Demon
Right.
Deacon or something. I can't even remember right now, but he just like fills up a bowl of water in a sink in the locker room and then just like waterboards the guy
To baptize him out of nowhere. Surprise baptism.
It's just like so funny. There's a scene where he and the nun are like on a date and they're just like eating plain toast, no butter, no jam, just like crunching away on like dried out white bread. This movie just works for me, man. It's so
It's so
funny.
weird. It's so funny and weird.
He joins a mariachi band to try to like go undercover, and that's like the big song scene. There's a song scene for Jack Black in almost every single movie. It's how he got his start doing Tenacious D, making a lot of music. He, again, incredibly musically talented person, in my opinion. Like, I know that he sings in kind of a comedic way, but just you can tell that he's trained. You know that he has good pitch. You know that he just like really has some pipes on him, and then he can play some of the world's most random instruments. But yeah, Nacho Libre is my number 3, and I love that movie. I could rewatch it all the time.
And my only pushback on the singing of Jack Black, it reminds me so much of Adam Sandler. And it's like, oh my gosh, I know this is probably going to be in whatever movie I'm watching. And like you said, it's so comedic all the time that sometimes it makes me cringe. But he is, like, we know he's talented. So, but it's frustrating. I'm just like not, sometimes I like cringe a lot when he's doing some of this. Not always, but that's my only pushback there. So are we on, so that was your 3, correct?
Yeah, so now we're on your 3.
Wow, my 3. Okay. I am going to go with a crowd pleaser here, I think. And that is Kung Fu Panda. Okay? Kung Fu Panda, to me, is one of those movies that this felt like an era where there was just so many animated movies coming out all the time and you didn't know what was going to be a hit, what was just going to be completely forgotten. This was like Kung Fu Panda, for people who don't know or remember, came out around the time of, The Dark Knight, Iron Man. So like early Marvel days, Chris Nolan, Batman days, a long time ago when you look back and think about it. And this movie,
2008, literally.
2008, wow.
As Iron Man.
Wow. I was just like, okay, off the top of my head.
Impressive.
But this movie was hit, I think, for everyone. It's one of those ones, I don't know anyone who's seen this who didn't like it. I'll admit, I haven't seen the third one. I think I saw the second and I enjoyed it. But it's really funny and it makes you be like, Jack Black could be a voice actor for any animated film. And he's just great in these animated films. It's animated really funny. His relationship with the little guy, I'm forgetting his
Master
name.
Shifu.
Master Shifu is hilarious. There's actually like a great kind of freaky, scary villain in the thing. Like it's just
Tai Lung is like legit imposing.
He is, yeah. And it's just a good movie and it's enjoyable. It'll make, I think if you're a kid, it's going to make you laugh out loud. If you're an adult, like you're going to be pleasantly surprised at this movie and have some laughs, chuckle along, and more so even just enjoy kind of the goofy story and where it takes place. And it just works. So without saying too much, Kung Fu Panda, solid third.
Sam, you're not going to believe it.
What?
Kung Fu Panda is my number 2.
Oh my gosh, you're one-upping me. We're gonna have commenters that come in and they're gonna say, "Oh my gosh, I can't believe Sam had all these movies so low," and Kenny's gonna be one above me on all of them. And Kenny's gonna be like, "Oh yeah, I don't know how you ranked that movie where he did. I had it one higher."
Yeah, I know. It's because I am the litmus test for truth and quality. So just get used to that.
Okay.
Kung Fu Panda is great. Not only is it super funny, Po is a really funny character. It's definitely I would say is probably his second or third most famous character, probably behind Nacho. I would say Nacho's probably his number 1 most famous character, at least that I can think of off the top of my head. This movie is also incredibly well animated, and the actual fight scenes and the actual kung fu in this movie, I was rewatching it, especially the dumpling scene where
It's a great scene.
he and Shifu are going at it, and that is so fun. It's so kinetic. The sound mixing and sound editing is incredible. Just that movie is so fun. He acts as like this like bouncy ball, and then that scene with him and Master Shifu training, there is a mirror scene at the end where he's fighting Tai Lung and he's doing a lot of the same things. He's doing like the hiding trick with all the bulls, and he's like on top of these bamboo sticks, and he's reactive. His like form of kung fu is really, really fun, where it's kind of on accident, but he's like so big that things bounce off of him, and just it's all like his style of kung fu is pure luck, and it's just so fun. Po, the character, is also very endearing, starting like always wanting to be a kung fu master, always wanted to train with the Furious Five, and he's just selling noodles. But his dad teaches him a really important lesson about, hey, like whatever you do, do it well. Like really invest into your craft. His dad was so passionate about noodles, and he wanted Po to be passionate about noodles too. But then they both come to a realization of like, whoa, Po's kung fu is his noodles, and that was like the secret ingredient, if you will, was love all along. So this is a great movie, very well animated, super colorful, and timeless. Like,
yeah,
my 100%. Nephews watch this movie and they still find it funny.
Yeah.
So, and I have watched this movie over and over and over again. I used to have Kung Fu Fighting on my iPod Nano, and it's because of this movie. I've watched it over and over again. I have enjoyed it thoroughly every single time I've watched it.
And that is a great lesson in things you shouldn't share. So
having an iPod Nano or listening to Kung Fu Fighting on repeat?
Both. So wait, so that was your 2. So now we're back to my 2.
Yeah.
Okay, here we go. This is one of my legitimate favorite movies of all time. Again, I know I mentioned Napoleon Dynamite earlier as a top 5 comedy. This is a top 5 comedy for me all time. It is Tropic Thunder. And It is one of the funniest movies I've ever seen. I've seen it so many times. I laugh so hard every time. This movie is brilliant, beginning to end. Tried watching it when I was a teenager when it first came out. Didn't fully understand it. Got older, I think in like college or something, like early college, watched it. Just thought it was the funniest movie ever, and still to this day, it's just so funny. One of the most modern, offensive films probably ever made. I mean, you have
undoubtedly,
yeah, and Ben Stiller, who directed this movie and starred in this movie, has been criticized so much and been asked to apologize for this movie so much. And to his credit, so many people bend over backwards. Like Seth Rogen is so spineless. Like shout out to Seth Rogen. All of his movies that made his career, made him super popular. Well, when Hollywood started getting really woke, he came out and was like, I apologize for all the films and all the jokes I made that made me famous. So now you guys all like me again. And, but good thing I had those movies or I wouldn't be here. Ben Stiller's been like, not apologizing for this movie. It's tasteful, funny. It makes fun of itself. I think it's the epitome of a film. And I'll get into the Jack Black performance here. I'm not going to just completely deep dive Tropic Thunder right now, but I think it's the epitome of a film that like knows it's being offensive, right? A lot of stuff, like a lot of modern audiences, I've seen a lot of people criticize shows like The Office, or even recently, Seinfeld's been on Netflix for a while, but I saw this hilarious article that was like, a lot of Gen Zers are watching Seinfeld and they're finding it really offensive. Like, these are shows that know what they're doing, right? They're not making the show to be offensive. They're using the characters to show how dumb the characters are and how anyone who maybe believes the stuff going on or acts this way, they are the stupid people, right? And so, but a lot of people have a disconnect with that.
Yeah. Like, Robert Downey Jr. is supposed to be really, really stupid in this movie for pretending to be a black man when he's Robert Downey Jr.
Right.
That's the joke.
Right.
If you don't get that, then you're like, you haven't been paying attention. It's not like, it's intentionally, if it's offensive, it's intentionally offensive, and they literally address it in the movie.
That's the movie is like, so meta. It's so meta.
Yeah.
Okay, we can't go off on Tropic Thunder because it's too good and it'll take too long. But I will talk about, because today's it's Jack Black Day apparently, so I'll talk about Jack Black. Okay, second favorite performance of his. He is basically, like all the other characters in this movie, making fun of himself in real life, right? He is this character, it's like Jeff Portnoy or something is his name. And he, in the movie, is a film star that makes these like, kind of like Eddie Murphy style movies where it's all slapstick humor and it's all like body shaming and fat jokes and fart jokes. Like, he has a line in it that's on our thing today, and it says, it's when he's having this self-realization, he's having this confession with these guys in the wood or in the forest in the movie, and he's like, people only like me for my farts. And he like gets like, he's really like, what's hilarious, he's like a cocaine addict, but he's supposed to be this like family film guy, and the whole movie he's like having withdrawals from his cocaine, and it's like the most adult role that he plays, right? He does Kung Fu Panda, Nacho Libre, Jumanji, like all these kind of silly roles, and he's still silly in this movie, but it's so funny to see him like making fun of the characters he kind of normally plays, and he's like a cocaine addict in this movie, and he's like, I want to be like taken more seriously, and kind of similar to Kung Fu Panda, it's like by the end of this movie, it's like at one point, like his cocaine addiction that actually saves him and helps get them out of a bind. Like, I don't know. It's his most adult role. And I think, even though I don't think like he's like the fifth or sixth funniest person in this movie, because this roster's so stacked, and he doesn't completely nail it top to bottom, in my opinion, but it's still hilarious. So that's my number 2.
Yeah, what you just mentioned about him being like the fifth or sixth funniest person is why this movie didn't end up on my list, because out of all the movies I have on my list, I actually do think Tropic Thunder is easily the funniest and probably the best. It would be my number 1. I disqualified it because I was like, man, between Ben Stiller and RDJ and just, the cast is just
Bill Hader,
insane.
Tom Cruise.
It's so... Matthew McConaughey. He is like talking about how to like bury a stripper or something. And it's so funny. Yeah, Tom Cruise plays this really like, he's in like a fat suit kind of. He's like super hairy, and he's just the scene that is cemented into my brain is Ben Stiller like saving the baby, and then like as he like runs across this little bridge.
Oh yes.
Like cartwheels this baby into
Just yeets
the
it.
river,
The baby starts stabbing him, and he's like, whoosh.
I just the first time I watched that movie, I was actually with Jenna's cousin in his
You were with
basement.
Jenna's
And we,
parents, and you were like, I don't know if I should laugh or not.
yeah. No, this was just me and Jenna's cousin, and we were just like we were probably a little too young to be watching the movie, but like I think that I don't know, we somehow got a hold of it and we were just dying laughing. We
Yes.
just and it holds up. It's still
Oh,
actually
yeah.
quite funny. Um
Okay. You're
my
good.
my
Is this your
number
one? This is your
one
one. Big deal.
this is my yeah, this is my
We got
one.
to have the same number one. There's no way we don't have the same number
Yeah.
one here.
It's School of Rock.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's what we are raising our goblets to today.
This is
We are
it. Yeah,
taking
this is really it. We're raising our
yeah.
goblets to School of Rock.
Yes. This movie is incredible. Jack Black plays this total deadbeat dude who doesn't have a job. He's living rent free in his kind of loser friend's house, but then his loser friend gets a girlfriend who's way out of his league, and she's like, "Hey, you got to start paying rent." And so he then cons his way into pretending to be his friend as a substitute teacher, and he kind of goes to this pretty preppy school. I was watching a video today of like how much he was getting paid to sub, and it was like, oh wow, if this was the real number back in whenever this movie was, let's see, when was this movie made? This was made in 2003. It was like, oh, the cost of being a substitute in terms of how much you get paid now is like $25 more between 2025 and 2003. So he's
Yikes.
going to a pretty he's getting paid well, but he goes there and he realizes that these kids are pretty talented, pretty good at music, and it gives him an opportunity to build a new band in order to compete in the Battle of the Bands. And through the movie, he teaches these super preppy kids, like a young Miranda Cosgrove, about
iCarly, for people who don't know.
yeah, iCarly, about how to rock, how to make modern music, because they're all like well trained in the violin and in the piano and all of these sorts of things, just because it's a really preppy school. And he kind of converts them to be like, he talks about sticking it to the man. It's like rock is about sticking it to the man, and he's just teaching these like 11-year-olds all these things, and he creates a super fun band, again leaning super heavily into his musical abilities. His singing in this movie is legitimately good. I would say that it's not even like comedic good. It's very, very good, very funny. The music is great. I think he wrote a lot of the music. I think he had some help, but I think that he was definitely involved in all of it. And at the end of the day, it's also just a really wholesome role, because he ends up really connecting with these kids, and he really is invested in their lives and in their success and like in their sorrows and their difficulties at home, to the point where during a parent teacher conference, he just confesses to the parents, somehow does not get arrested for faking to be a substitute teacher, but he does confess about it. But the kids care about him so much that they hijack a van somehow and still like go to the Battle of the Bands and compete, and it is electric. It is so fun. This is this is easily his best performance movie all around. This is great. School
Yes,
of Rock.
I agree with everything you said. Like you said, he doesn't only teach them how to rock musically, he teaches them how to live a rock and roll lifestyle and apply it. And that attitude fixes a lot of their problems, right? A lot of these kids, like you said, are in a world where they're just doing whatever their parents ask. Their parents are very elite and like financially well off, and so the kids just listen to them, and it kind of gives them an opportunity not necessarily to rebel to their parents, but to stand up to them and to the things that are bothering them in their lives. And this is Jack Black's best performance. I do not cringe at all during this movie. This is what his musical talent, like, it's the perfect niche for him, right? Is like a movie where he's can do kind of goofy rock, but also turn it into like rock that hits on all levels from like an educational standpoint. It is so funny, right? That scene you were talking about where he's admitting that he was a fake teacher and he's very going to get arrested. Like, he has such a unbelievable line that he ends it with, and he doesn't realize how bad it comes out, but he's like, your kids have touched me, and I'm pretty sure I've touched them. And there's just this awkward silence, and all the parents are like, "Oh my god!" And then they all go after him, and it's just
so bad.
And it's just so good. The writer of this movie is Mike White, who does White Lotus. So for everyone who likes White Lotus, I've seen the first season. I liked it. I was not in love with it, but I know a lot of people really are into White Lotus, despite how bad season 3 sounds. Also, I love Mike White just because he went on my favorite reality show, Survivor, and he did an amazing job, and it was one of the best seasons of Survivor ever. So just shout out to Mike White for being
Mike
that dude.
White or Boston Rob.
Am I picking?
Yeah.
What am I, like, better Survivor player or like more entertaining?
Better Survivor
or
player.
favorite? Well,
go ahead and do both if they're different.
The better is Boston Rob. Tough for Mike White. He did amazing. Tough for him to win because he's a celebrity and nobody wants celebrities to win. So he was kind of pigeonholed there. But he also used it to his advantage a lot and to get far. Like in I know we're going off tangent here, but like in the Survivor season, Mike White clearly like is a very likable celebrity on the show, and he is not like cocky or full of himself. And so it's people coming to him, telling him how over and over again, how much they love School of Rock and all this stuff. And like, so anyways, and Mike White's actually in School of Rock in like a small role. He's his friend. So, but yeah, Jack Black is perfect. The ending, like the song, the performance, it hits so well. And, it's just awesome. Like this is one of the best, I would say, like family films out there that anyone, parent, kid, anyone could watch this and you can't walk away not enjoying the movie and like not enjoying what you're watching. It's so well done. I haven't seen a movie that's hit this well from like a family perspective, with that level of charm, and fun for a really long time, honestly. Like I can't think of one off the top of my head that's like nailed it beginning to end like this movie.
Yeah, it's really hard to nail the be both funny and family friendly. That's just like, it's just very difficult to do, to kind of keep both people involved. And this movie and Pixar pretty much are the ones that do it the best. So any honorable mentions, Sam? Any movies that you were like, okay, I actually do like this movie, but I can't mention it because it's like he's a relatively small role in it? Or
I think you mentioned The Cable Guy. I love The Cable Guy. One of my favorite movies. It's one of my dark horse favorite comedy movies. Like it's up there. I could watch it over and over again, and I just love it. And
that movie is psychotic.
It is like, it's such dark humor, and it's so ahead of its time. Like it legitimately is like so ahead of its time. And it's, the thing about the movie is he actually plays like a normal dude, and he actually like plays it really well. And he's just like the best friend in the movie, and he's not like really funny or anything, but he actually like does well in that role.
Yeah.
So yeah, I would say that. And I don't know, I looked at a few others. Like, I don't know what else would make it even into like honorable mention range. I mean, I've watched Bernie, which was an indie film. Have you seen Bernie?
I have not.
Really weird movie. Again, he plays sort of like iconic weird character. He's like a caretaker for this old lady who's like, he's a mortician. She's like the craziest lady ever. And he's the nicest person in town. He's really feminine and everybody's in love with him. And it's shot as like a documentary style, like biopic where they're interviewing people the entire time, because he ends up like, the movie revolves around a court case where he like murdered this woman. He like shoots her and kills her because she drives him nuts. And it's just a weird, quirky film. It got like really high critical acclaim. It was all right. It's just weird. And it's just kind of funny. He kills this woman and they like can't have the trial in their small town because everyone will exonerate him because everyone hated the woman and thought she was obnoxious, and everybody loves him. And he's like, he's like, I think even like admitting somewhat to the crime, and they're like, nah, like you're good. And like, so
Yeah.
I guess Bernie is up there, but that's probably about it.
Yeah.
What about you?
My honorable mention is the Super Mario Brothers movie, the animated one
Oh,
that came
wow.
out in
Okay.
2023. That movie is so fun. People probably think that I'm an idiot for liking it, but I truly enjoy it. It's very fun. It's not his best role, but super colorful. It's easily the best Super Mario Brothers movie we've ever gotten.
Wow.
So
Not a high
pretty
bar.
high bar. It's a high bar. Dude, I started watching the original Super Mario Brothers movie,
It's so weird.
and that movie is just it's just a big pile of goop. It's
Yeah.
just so gross and weird, and like Koopa's not even a Koopa, he's just like a guy with bad hair. Anyway, not to get off track, but Peaches is an all-time song from Jack Black's character playing Bowser. Um, yeah, super fun movie. Didn't quite make the list because he plays a role, but it's not as good as the other five. But it's a fun movie.
I got one more that I bet you have not seen. It's called Be Kind Rewind. Have you watched that?
No.
It's like the most indie film ever, and it's Jack Black and Most Def, the rapper. Okay, and you would recognize Most Def if you don't know, but it's a great concept. They and it's kind of a charming movie. It's completely unknown, but let me give you this concept and tell me if you're interested or not interested in watching this movie.
Yeah.
They own a like failing VHS rental store. Okay,
Yes.
it's around like
I'm in.
Blockbuster time.
You got me.
It's like an indie VHS store. They're failing, and I believe no one crucified me on this. No one will because no one's seen this movie. But they like can't afford the new films. They're like out of money. But everyone that comes in is like, whoa, I'm here. You don't have these new releases. Then I'm going over to Blockbuster or Hollywood Video. And they're like, dude, what are we going to do? We can't afford these new films. And they come up with this idea. They're like, how about I've got this home video camera, Always Sunny in Philadelphia style. And they start recreating these films and that are coming out. So they go and like watch the movie or something. And it's, they take these 2-hour movies and they make a home video version of the film that's 15 minutes long. And
That sounds so fun.
right. And people come and they like rent the movie and come back. And he's like, this was not the movie I was expecting. And they're like, oh, shoot. And they're like, this was hilarious. This is so funny. Do you guys have any other home videos like this? Right? Kind of like before the age of YouTube or anything like that. And so their business, how they save their business is they recreate all these movies and these classic movies by making these horrible 15-minute versions like around their house and stuff. Like, oh, you know, we might be I can't remember the movies they do, but it's like we might be recreating Top Gun or something like that, or like Die Hard, right? And it's like we don't have a real gun, but it's like we've got a banana, and they're like recreating these scenes, and they're just anyways. Tell me you're not interested in that movie, because what a fun idea.
I'm gonna go watch it right now. That sounds so fun.
It's a great idea. So that's my last honorable mention. I know no one's like seen that movie, but
Awesome. Well,
do we
everyone.
do we have any other closing thoughts or anything that you wanted to talk about today?
I think that a lot of people do feel the same way that you do about Jack Black, where they just don't feel connected to him. They don't find him as funny as other comedic actors. I would just say, in defense of Jack Black, he is incredibly endearing. He seems to be a good man from everything that we've seen. He's an incredibly talented person, both musically and in terms of the films that he's worked with. People on set, Jim Carrey being one of them, talk about how much they enjoy being around Jack Black, and he's cemented himself as one of the best comedic actors of our time, I would say, of his generation, for sure.
Oh, wow. That is a bold statement.
Yeah.
Yeah, that is, um, I would
You
say,
had yours on Quentin Tarantino.
no,
I've
you're
got mine
right.
on Jack Black.
No, I love it. I would say, you know, A-lister and super iconic. Yeah.
There you go.
So I would compliment that. People want to know what our future episodes are going to be about so they
Yeah.
can watch stuff for the coming weeks. I've been getting a lot of comments about that. So we
What are we doing?
are up in the air. We want to do ranking best Ben Stiller movies. If Kenny can get around to that, maybe.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did we have something else on the table? I know we had a few things.
A few movies that, a few pods that we're probably going to be doing over the next month or so, give or take different releases. We want to talk about top 5 most impactful war movies that we've seen. That one might be a little bit heavier, but that's for the upcoming Alex Garland movie. Uh, the our favorite Ryan Coogler films for his upcoming film Sinners is coming up soon. And then we also have top 5 best revenge movies at some point in April and May. We are planning on doing a pod on that to celebrate the release of Rami Malek's Amateur coming out
These
on
all
April
sound fun.
11th.
They sound fun.
Yeah.
It's just a matter
Yeah.
of, can we get our Ben Stiller episode in? He deserves
I would
his
say
episode.
you heard it here first on the pod. Next week, top 5 Ben Stiller movies.
Okay.
I'm committing.
Okay, next week, top 5 Ben Stiller movies. So if you haven't seen Ben Stiller movies or if you've missed some of his hits, go watch them. All right, so I guess that's it. And hope you guys enjoyed the Jack Black rankings. And remember to like, sub, share, tell your friends, do everything you can for this podcast. It's more important than anything else in your life right now.
Yeah. Until next time, loyal and intimate fan base, stick it to the man.